Hey y'all, welcome to Freedom Makers. I'm Amanda, and today I'm super excited to be dehydrating oregano in my sun oven. This is going to be our first ever dehydration project in our sun oven. I've got a rake here with me. I'm going to use this end to just kind of poke around in the oregano bed just to make sure there aren't any snakes or any critters hiding in there. And I'm going to harvest it, wash it, and put it in the sun oven. Hopefully by the end of the day we will have dehydrated oregano. This is one of my herb beds. It's really gotten away from me, but this is oregano, and it's looking really, really nice. I just kind of want to look back in here, make sure there aren't any critters or snakes hiding in there. It's always a good idea just to kind of poke around before you get your hands in something that's overgrown like this. I'm going to harvest as much of this as I can. It goes all the way down here. I anticipate this being several days worth of dehydration in our sun oven. I'm hoping to get all this out of here before it bolts. It won't be long, and these guys will flower, and I will lose them because they won't taste the same once they flower. These are beautiful plants. I can't wait to make my own Italian seasoning this year. To harvest these long stems of oregano, I am just going to bend these over and cut down near the base. They will regrow next year, so cutting them as low as I can to the ground is the best option. As you can see, I've just barely put a dent right back here in the back. I started in the back and I was working my way to the front. We still have all of this to go, all the way down, and it's just barely put a dent in it. I do have several weeds to get out of this bed, but I don't worry too much about the clover because I can pull it up for chicken feed, and my oregano towers over it, so it doesn't grow like crazy, and it doesn't prevent the oregano from growing, so I'm not too concerned about it. But I will get out here eventually. This is the bundle that I ended up with. I think this is more than enough for one load in my sun oven. It's rather small. I'm going to get it on the racks. This is the first time I'm doing this, so we shall see. I might need more, I might need less. This will be a good gauge here at the first though. I'm going to take this in the house and wash it up, get any pollen off of here, and throw it in the sun oven to dehydrate. I've had my sun oven set up for about 20-30 minutes now. It's at about 250. I have the first rack in the bottom here with some parchment paper. I've washed my oregano. I'm going to lay this out as evenly as I can because I want it to dry really evenly. And then I will stack the other racks on top. Stacking it on a little heavier here on this top layer than I had anticipated doing because I had a little extra harvested. I don't think it's going to be a big deal on this top layer because when I made the cookies, I did notice that the top finished before the bottom did. So I'm hoping I can rotate these throughout the day. So I don't think this first one having a little extra will do any harm. I'm going to go ahead and close it, but I am not going to press this down and secure it with the little tab things here. You would normally do that if you're baking because you would want to create a seal so that the heat stays in. When you're dehydrating, you want the moisture to escape. So in the instructions it says just to leave this open. You could even do like so per the instructions. Just so that there's a space here so that the moisture can escape as this heats up. This was heated up at about 250, so I anticipate this will work rather quickly. If I was dehydrating in the house, I would keep it around the same temperature and expect just a few hours. And then as time goes on today, I will move this so that my shadow is still lined up with the little holes. Y'all, it's not even back up to 250 yet, and already several of the leaves are looking really brown. And do y'all hear that? Many of them are already crispy. This has only been out here about 30 minutes, so I don't anticipate this taking too long. I'm probably going to do several batches throughout the day because it's going to be very sunny today, and this is going to do great. Well friends, it's the end of the day. This is my 4th dehydrator load. I am going to take all this out and put it in my bowl here. The longer I did this, or the more batches that I did, the more I realized that I really didn't have to do it as thinly as I did. This is quite a bunch that I just laid on the top. It was the last of what I had harvested, and it wasn't a big deal. It took a little bit longer, I think, to dehydrate, but that wasn't a problem. Each load in the sun oven took about an hour to 2 hours, depending on how much cloud cover we had. During the middle of the day, we did have several clouds roll in, and I thought, I don't know if this is gonna work. During that time, it still was only about 2 hours. We did 4 loads in the sun oven today, but that still left us with about half a flower bed. So we have just as much to do tomorrow or whenever the next sunny day is. Tomorrow it's a little iffy. We might have clouds, we might have sun. If it starts out with sun, I'm gonna start dehydrating it again in the morning and see how far that gets us. So let's head back inside. I'm gonna show you guys how I take all of the leaves off of the stems and crush that down and process it and show you how much we ended up with in a jar. Okay, this is my last batch, and what I've been doing is simply taking the leaves off the stems. You don't want these hard stems in there. If you're using a food processor, those will break down somewhat, but you don't want those woody stems in there because those don't break down nearly as well as just the leaves. So I have been just going through and patiently crunching off all of the oregano leaves, and I put the stems to the side. Those can be composted or whatever you want to do with those, but they are not good for seasoning. They will just add some woodiness and crunch, I guess, but you don't want those if you can help it. So this is kind of painstaking work, but it's kind of relaxing at the same time. It will take me some time to get all of this done, but it will be well worth it in the end. Now I've finished taking off all the leaves from the stems. I've discarded those, and I am left with not quite a quart jar. I still have half a bed of oregano to go, so I intend on doubling this amount, hopefully. And when I grow everything else necessary and dry it, for Italian seasoning, that is probably what I'm going to make with most of it. So I hope today's video was helpful for you guys. I hope that it inspires you. Get out a sun oven if you have one. Dry some herbs. You'll be very glad you did. It's very rewarding. As soon as we have another sunny day, I am going to dry the rest of it and then get started on other things like honeysuckle and my parsley, and there are a lot of other herbs and things that are available right now, so I want to get them all dried for winter use, for seasonings, for medicinal purposes, for teas, and that will be great. So thank you guys so much for stopping by. I'll catch you in the next video.